Hello and thanks for joining us today. This video is the second in a series that we're showing Fishbowl LinkTuner application and how you can leverage it to monitor and evaluate what's going on in your Windchill world. The first video showed how we can benchmark individual end-user workstations and really get a feel for how the system's working day to day and troubleshoot different issues. During this demo, we're going to show how we can simulate large amounts of users in order to stress test the system and see how Windchill is going to react under load, especially prior to a big go live, or maybe when you're doing a major upgrade. You really only have one chance at making a good first impression, and so when you go live, knowing how the system is going to behave under that initial load is really critical, and we're going to demonstrate how LinkTuner can help you in that situation and that use case. And also, it works quite well in conjunction with PTC system monitors. So if you do use PSM or maybe some other third-party tools, this is it does work hand in hand quite well with those. Right, so what we're going to be demonstrating today with LinkTuner, the basic elements, you're going to see our server console that's just going to run on some Windows workstation on your environment, and then there's a piece that is installed on the Windchill app server. The other major player is the Creo workstations themselves that are somewhere out on your network, or they could be VM instances as well, but they're going to be running the Creo application, which is the critical thing and the unique thing that we're doing with LinkTuner is we are actually running the Creo application. So we're not trying to simulate a bunch of Java calls at and emulate users at a URL level. We're actually driving workstations, driving the Creo application, and stress testing the server, stress testing your network. That is one very unique thing that we're doing here. And so when we walk you through the demonstration, we're going to set it up, we're going to have it run for a certain amount of time, and then we'll be able to monitor the performance and see what's going on here. So LinkTuner itself, the console is going to tell the agents what to do. The agents are going to take those actions, and then we're collecting the data from, collecting all that data on the console and being able to report back and provide metrics. Okay, let's jump over to the LinkTuner console. It's on the configuration page. It's simple to configure. You're just going to enter in here the Windchill URL and then a couple of different paths for where it's going to collect the data. As I stated in the use case here, a lot of times our customers are using LinkTuner to stress test prior to going into production. So in this URL space, they are going to enter in the URL for their test dev, and maybe if they're going to a 10.2, or let's say next year you're going to Windchill 11 and you want to simulate what it's going to be like if 40 CAD users or 100 CAD users are hitting the system, and do that in the test dev environment without having to go get 100 users to do it out in the real world. So just enter in that URL here and then registering the agents. So these are all the CAD workstations out in the network that you're going to fire up and run with LinkTuner. And we'll jump over to the scheduler, where this is managing all of our jobs. So specifically here we're talking about mass loading the system, putting it under stress. So we already have a job in here for that. It's an on-demand job that you can run anytime. We have this set up to run for 2 hours straight, so it's for a fixed amount of time. And looking over at the operations tab here, it's going to be taking these actions on this list of objects, and it's going to do those actions and objects at these workstations that we have registered here. So when we hit run job now, it will start, LinkTuner will start giving objects to each agent, and each agent will be taking these actions, and then we'll be collecting those, that data for a 2-hour period. So let's go look at some reports. Here's our standard report page, but really for this particular job, we're going to go over and look at some system reports. So if we fire off the mass load job, then we'd jump over to our Windchill admin, server status, and pull up our task manager and begin to monitor what's going on, and looking at that over the 2-hour period to begin to understand what's going on with CPU usage and memory and the different relevant benchmark tasks that we want to look at. And then another good way, while we're doing this stress test in your test and dev environment, so that system is under stress. Now what we want to do is let's go in and just run the typical daily test that's happening now in the current production environment. Let's run that in the future environment that's under stress. So even though this is a scheduled job, we can run that job right now, and that's going to go kick that off, and it's going to capture that run in a report. So we can see what's happening right now in real time, and we can begin to see if that job is usually taking 70 minutes in my current production environment, what's it doing in the future test environment that's under stress? What's it doing in the future test environment when it's not under stress? And again, so the first use case also comes into play when we're doing this stress testing. LinkTuner, as you can see, is an easy way to configure it to simulate dozens or even hundreds of users, and then also to be able to do the simple benchmarking test in order to understand how the system's performing over time and from release to release. Thank you for listening today, and if you have any questions about LinkTuner, please contact Fishbowl by email or by phone.